Balenciagas on my feet, stay in. Oh boy, fresh. I got these pointers, neck and wrist, stay in. Oh boy, fresh. I'm always fresher than the rest, stay in. Oh boy, fresh. Since '96, I'm in this game, stay in. Oh boy, fresh. Balenciagas on my feet, stay in. Oh boy, fresh. I got these pointers, neck and wrist, stay in. Oh boy, fresh. I'm always fresher than the rest, stay in. Oh boy, fresh. Since '96, I'm in. Welcome to another episode of No Cap Reacts. I'm your man Bailey, aka Mr. Go Get 'em. And we back with another episode. This is it. First and foremost, happy Thursday. Looks like we had another wonderful football season start off. Looking like it's gonna be pretty good. The Buffalo Bills played hella well. Hello. So no complaints about that. All right, so I initially did this video. I did this video almost a week ago. I did this video for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, I want to say congratulations to Lizzo on, her getting her, award, right? But there's some other things. There were some things that came out. It was Aries Spears, and we definitely gonna talk about Aries Spears and what's going on with Tiffany Haddish in that situation. But let's really talk about like other situations of what's truly going on out here in the world we live in. Okay. The world we live in right now, whether we like it or not, is extremely obese. Okay. I'm 5'10", 295 pounds right now. Lizzo is 5'10", 308 pounds. And that was the last time that they actually, put out what her weight was. So is that fact or fiction? Honestly, we won't know, and we don't know. The reason that I actually want to do this video is for the fact that, unfortunately, in the world we live in today, my standards and the rest of the world's standards, I am fat. Lizzo is bigger than me. So if I'm fat, what is she? According to world standards, I'm obese. So if I'm obese, guess what she is? I'm sorry, but we can't sit here and sugarcoat factual information. And what is fact is, being overweight is not a good thing. Not only that, let me go ahead and throw some statistical facts out here. All right. Did you know and realize that the number one killer in the United States of America is heart disease? Okay. Let's do this. Leading causes of death in the United States of America, heart disease. Right behind heart disease is cancer. Okay? This and chronic lower respiratory disease go hand in hand. And guess what? It also gives you diabetes. Being extremely overweight is a killer. Any way you put it, any way you push it, any way you want to throw it out. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Being overweight is going to take you out the game. Okay? Facts on Lizzo. Lizzo is again 5'10", okay, 308 pounds. She is a weight size 36. Congratulations on the things that you have accomplished in life. I will give you that 100 million%. But I can't give you anything that, okay, so let's say my daughter decides to champion and run behind you and want to follow in your footsteps. I'm black, just like you are. In the black community, well, number one killer, three leading causes of death in African Americans. High morbidity and mortality. Six major disease categories. Okay, three major killers for us. Heart disease, our diseases of the heart, cancer, and HIV. Those are our three main killers. Three main killers. That's what takes us out the gate. So you cannot sit here and tell me that what you are telling these young adults is good for them, because unfortunately it's not. And if I have any say in the black community, the last thing that I want to do is spread misinformation. Big is beautiful. Okay, Lizzo, you have a beautiful face, you are a beautiful woman, but physically you are nowhere close to a beauty standard at any point in time in history, culture, um, anything. I understand that there is the narrative that is being spread that big is beautiful, but we can't go off of that. And the reason we can't go off of that is because, unfortunately, the message that comes behind that is not a positive message, nor is it a healthy message, nor is it something that we should actually be pushing, especially at a time where we are the biggest that we have ever been in the history of this country. Not cool. Not cool. But I'm gonna get off Lizzo. I saw this video. And let's see if I can find this video.
This video was made possible.
Oops. Definitely don't want that. Let's see if I can find the original video. Okay, so we're gonna watch this video. And I think this serves a wonderful message just based off of some of the things that we're currently going through right now. So this is gonna be a recruitment video. This is a recruitment video. It is literally it should be China, then it's Russia, and then it's gonna be the United States of America. So we're gonna go through this process, and we just gonna watch this and see what happens. Let me see if I can do something. No, we're just gonna play it. Bridget. Now I want you to think about, these are current videos. This is what is being pushed out to China as we speak, especially at a time where, whether we like it or not, we are in war. Again, keep this in mind. This is the Chinese video recruitment for the army.
Это первый день твоей новой жизни.
All right, here goes Russia.
То, что было вчера, не имеет значения. Кем ты был прежде, уже никого не волнует. Теперь важно то, кем ты будешь сегодня. Что ты знаешь о себе? На что ты способен? Вопросы могут остаться без ответов. Но разве ты можешь потом спокойно спать? Своих возможностей, счету границы. Ты готов ломать себя для размножения. Каждый день здесь скаляй, шрамы, повседневность. Это ты решил себе что-то доказать. Командир здесь только для того, чтобы ты мог увидеть в нем врага. В боя нет победы. Нет. Главное, правда.
You see a difference yet?
Стать лучше, чем вернуться назад. Победить нет. Потому что завтра первый день твоей новой жизни.
Okay, so they want some stone cold killers. All right, so here's the U.S.
This is the story of a soldier who operates your nation's Patriot missile defense systems. It begins in California with a little girl raised by two moms.
A little girl raised by two moms. Hi, Emma.
Although I had a fairly typical childhood, took ballet, played violin, I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age. When I was 6 years old, one of my moms had an accident and left me paralyzed. Doctors said she might never walk again. But she tapped into my family's pride to get back on her feet, eventually standing at the altar to marry my other mom. With such powerful role models, I finished high school at the top of my class, then attended UC Davis, where I joined a sorority full of other strong women. But as graduation approached, I began feeling like I'd been handed so much in life, a sorority girl stereotype. Sure, I'd spent my life around inspiring women, but what had I really achieved on my own? One of my sorority sisters was studying abroad in Italy. Another was climbing Mount Everest. I needed my own adventures, my own challenge. And after meeting with an army recruiter, I found it. A way to prove my inner strength and maybe shatter some stereotypes along the way. I'm U.S. Army Corporal Emma Malone Martin, and I answered my calling.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
This already
let's just be real.
looks good. It is
If you're watching this video and you were watching China versus Russia, and then went to the United States of America, would you please tell me that you think that the U.S. was ready for war, or are they pushing something along the lines of equality? um, I know you guys are gonna try to make this real hella sexist or whatever. Right? You're gonna call me a misogynist or whatever. But let's just be real. If we go into war, based off of what China's doing and based off of what based on what I saw Russia was doing, and Russia is currently at war. Who would you want to be protecting your freedoms? By all means, go ahead and put that in the chat. Because if I had to make a choice right now, I'm sorry, but Russia and China are gonna be my first choices because it looks like they're actually training for war. While we're over here helping girls figure out what choices they want to make in life. That's what I got out of that video. I didn't see nothing about that was going to protect us, and we're supposed to be the superpower of the damn world. If we're the superpower, we hurting. I'm just gonna be honest. We are hurting. I'm not saying whether she can or whether she can't do the job, but that was a little soft for me based off of that killer shit that I was seeing. I don't know, you tell me. So with that, I'm gonna go to another video that I'm about to throw up in here.
So it's very obvious to notice that
This was gonna be a little different. I haven't watched this video, so we just gonna see what it's about. Yeah. Let's get to it.
So it's very obvious to notice that there has been a strict shift in men and what it is to be called a man in today's time. With the social climate changing along with political correctness, it's clear to see that today society breeds weak men. And throughout our childhood, our nature to compete and to stand up for oneself is barely encouraged or supported, but rather suppressed and disciplined. It's understandably true that we are living better times than before, and men no longer have to have certain attributes to be successful in life. But I would argue everything goes hand in hand. Men more than women are more interested in competing for status and power, which result to a dopamine high and create more testosterone. Testosterone, which has been declining since the 1970s. And there are many factors for testosterone declining. There's been an avid push that masculinity is a social construct and is very much toxic and no longer needed to exist. Throughout time, masculinity stemmed from tribalism, what a man could provide and do for his tribe. They were socially bribed to go out and fight for a cause, and if they died, they would have glory. Males were often seen to be sacrificed in order for us to live. Things like courage, strength, and mastery were amongst the most masculine traits in order for civilizations to survive. Basically, providing, protecting, and competing were the main objectives of being a man. Any time in history where masculinity declined, nations have been overthrown or destroyed. As the saying goes, hard time creates strong men create good times, and good time create weak men, and weak men create hard times. And I think as a society, we are in the weak men phase, where the hardest of times are yet to come if people do not educate themselves. Personally, I think when the feminist movement started, it had good
If you pay attention, World War III, we are literally in World War III.
intentions of giving women opportunity to get educated or to work, along with some other benefits. But more recently, it's becoming a more radical push of anti-masculinity, where we're oblivious to the alarming rates and issues that men face. Things like higher rates of school dropouts.
I want you guys to actually pay attention to this third one here, and this fourth one here, and this fifth one here. Okay, so the video that we watched earlier definitely shows this, right? And you can see that 99% of the time we were the ones that were taken out. So if we start to overload our armed services with women, this number is drastically going to change. Let's also go here. there are far more crimes committed against men than there are women. I know women have this thought process that if they go out, they walk alone at night, that something's going to happen to them. Actually, this number proves the total opposite. And then let's go with homelessness. This number is actually, well, the crazy part, it's actually dropping because more women are becoming more homeless than ever before. And then, yeah,
Mental health issues, 80% higher rates of suicide, 71% higher rates of homelessness, and the list just goes on and on. So, what is contributing to all of this? One can say the lack of males, especially strong male figures in a boy's life, has a lot to do with this. I think it starts very early in life, where developed countries have a high rate of divorce, which often leaves kids without their fathers. And both girls and boys suffer from fatherless homes, but for this video, we're mainly going to focus on the effects it has on boys. Father figures are the ones who provide the whole structure at home. Without a strong male present in a boy's life, he ends up running on his emotions and hormones,
hey man, do me a favor, like the video.
most of which he doesn't even understand or even knows how to control. This usually ends up in boys involving in street activity or doing some type of crime. If you look at jails and prisons, it's the epicenter of not only men, but men who grew up without their fathers. Similarly, in the education system, it's a predominantly female institution, and there are many studies shown that boys do better in school when they are taught by a male teacher. I personally can look back and can attest to this when I was a student that male teachers had more of authority and more of a student retention than female teachers, especially when students were acting up. But we are going from a dad deprivation at home to now a male deprivation at school. And some of these modern day teachers are just indoctrinating our kids with some bullshit.
My room does not have a be there.
Okay, so I saw this video. Yeah, let's just watch this.
But I took it down during
And I think she possibly may have meant it as a joke, but yeah, this ticked off a lot of parents.
COVID because
U.S. flag made her uncomfortable.
in the meantime I tell this kid
Flag that was shed blood on, that was the literal view. It showed patriot, man. Whew. The flag actually means a lot to the actual country, regardless of what people think about it. And it made her feel uncomfortable. Although people fought and died and shared their blood and gave their lives to make sure that she is able to live the lifestyle that she's living right now. But let's continue.
we do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance to. And he like looks around and goes, "Oh, that one?"
Again, she may have meant it as a joke, but let's break something down real quick. I have nothing against the alphabet people, right? But what does this flag truly stand for? It is a flag that represents your choice of sexuality. It's a sex flag. That's what it is. It's a sex flag. Hi, this is what I choose to do with my life and who I choose to sleep with. It means absolutely nothing else. If I'm wrong, by all means, toss it in the chat.
As well as the inclusive pride flag. I pledge allegiance to the queers.
Now, keep this in mind. This is clearly an elementary school teacher because they're the only ones that do I pledge allegiance. Okay? Do you understand how many parents are not going to agree with this? And do you guys still not see how this is consistently being pushed upon our children left and right by teachers, by Disney? What is wrong in the world we live in?
Keep in mind that this is an elementary school teacher. She is teaching, influencing young kids whose minds are not developed yet. And I personally have nothing against LGBTQ people, but when it comes to schools, I think they should keep it strictly reading, writing, science, and arithmetic. Nothing else of political nature. But this is the modern day teacher and modern day climate of celebs and media platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Wherever these kids divert their attention to, they are constantly influenced by feminine behavior before their brains are even developed. So the damage is done and is progressive. Most of these young boys will grow up sexually confused, depressed, and indecisive because they're too in touch with their feminine side and that they don't understand who they truly are. Same thing happens in dating and relationships. Young girls get into trends of social media and date these feminine men, but when they get older and into the real world, they end up feeling dissatisfied and unhappy because they can't find a masculine man, a guy who makes the decision, a man who leads, who provides, who is confident and firm. Things like courage to take risks when there's a
I don't even have to say it because he's saying it for me.
high chance of failure, strength when you get knocked down, but you still get back up, and mastery after hours and hours of beating on your craft. These are skills that made a man have honor and respect to the tribe. Other men looked up to be like this person, and women out to attain him as a partner. But nowadays, we have too much pleasure without purpose, where we have things like junk food and pornography at our fingertips, which I think is a huge causation of the modern day decline in masculinity. Society has given access to too much pleasure before purpose, when it should be reversed, purpose before pleasure. When a man lacks a purpose, he declines in all aspects of life and can get very easily addicted, comfortable, and complacent. One of the main reasons I think young men's suicide rate is 6 times higher than women. They don't know who they are and they lack a sense of purpose. The lack of masculine men has caused disarray and has pushed women to accelerate their masculine side, which is going against the very nature of a woman who wasn't designed to function this way. This can be catastrophic to society as masculinity is what provides safety and protection, not to declare war, but to always be ready for it. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you like the modern day social climate of masculinity? And where do you think society is headed?
So I played that video because at the end of the day, right now, there is definitely a war on masculinity. I'm pretty sure you all know who Mr. Andrew Tate is, and he was like the epicenter of masculinity. And the crazy part about it is he wasn't saying anything wrong. He was literally telling men, better yourselves in life, earn something, achieve something, become someone, and then everything else will come with it. Stop chasing women, stop chasing sex, stop doing all these different things. Things that, you know, me and various other YouTubers have been saying for quite some time. You know, in life, whether we like it or not, as you become a man and you come into your manhood, you are going to face certain things in life that unfortunately we can't get past. We have to fight for what we want. We have to earn the things that we want in life. It's not handed to us. You know, I made a post on my Facebook even most recently, but let's just be real. Let's put it like this, okay? As a woman, you can make $45,000 a year, but live a 6-figure lifestyle as long as you look good. And the reason for that is you're going to have various men that are paying for your trips, paying for your vacations, buying you things, taking you out, giving you gifts, etc. Name a man that could ever get that. Oh, we can't. We're the ones actually giving it to the woman. And in order to give that to a woman, you actually have to build yourself up and create that actual type of lifestyle in the first place, which means that you have basically put yourself in position to be able to buy, have, want, and give whatever you want. And 9 times out of 10, the recipient of that is going to be a woman. There's no woman that truly does that for a man. Whereas a man that makes $45,000 is a man that makes $45,000. That man that also makes $45,000 gets looked at no one because he has created no wealth. He is not giving anything to society, and no one really cares about him. So there is a huge difference between the existence of men and women, just for that reason alone, right? I'm not saying that it's a good thing or that it's a bad thing, but what it is it's a reality of what we go through as human beings and the difference between men and women, which is why great, like we want to push this thing about equality, but unfortunately we don't live equal lives. The livelihood of what we go through is way different than the livelihood of what you go through. There is a video out here of men doing extremely hard manual labor. And as they do this manual labor, you're gonna see something that you don't really see, which is a bunch of women doing it. The reason for that is because it's hard work, but it's some of the highest paying jobs that are out there. So, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this video up over here so we can kind of see what it's talking about. And also with these jobs come some of the highest paying jobs that are out there, just to be honest. But again, they're the most dangerous jobs out here. So I say that because that goes kind of into like the wage gap and things like that, which there really isn't one, but this explains it. Well, it doesn't explain it, but it shows it. Technically don't want to be getting copywritten, so I'll go ahead and turn that. Now, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, like 20-pound bags of rice, 10 to 20-pound bags of rice. Right? I'm not gonna lie, that's backbreaking work. Even I don't want to do that. Here's jobs that we know no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I've never actually seen a woman do this job. And this is where we literally say, well, I'll wait. But there are jobs out here that are extremely laborious. It is true manual labor. It is what allows us to live the life that we currently live right now as we speak. They're doing the groundwork to make sure that you still continue to have electricity and running water and pipes and pipelines and things that go along those lines that we take for granted. These are the exact same people that also put the food on our plates. You know, the majority of the truck drivers that are out there happen to be males. Of course, yes, there are women that do it, but there's not half as many of them as there are. And they just most recently got into it just because, well, I mean, it's a money maker. And once you realize, well, all you had to do was drive a truck, it was a little different. On top of the deaths that happen of on the job workers, situations like this, he's basically dealing with shit, looks like lava or some sort of boiling something. It has to be extremely hot for it to be at that temperature and glowing in that color to where it looks like lava. Sorry, but a lot of people don't want to work those jobs. But those are the highest paying jobs in the world because you are putting your life on the line. Here is said man on a skyscraper. This is work. This is labor intensive work. You know, New York City, Chicago skyline, Los Angeles skyline. I live in Arizona, Phoenix skyline, San Francisco skyline, all the bridges on top of that. Guess what? That is labor intensive work, carrying hundreds and thousands of pounds of steel. Okay. As we go through this process, I want to explain something to you because this was something that I had actually never looked up myself and did it and realized that this is absolutely atrocious. So, when in the world that we live in, one of the number one things that I hear all the time is the fact that, you know, there is toxic masculinity, is what they call it. Okay. So, what I wanted to do is I wanted to actually define the word toxic masculinity. In doing so, it literally says a set of attitudes and ways of behaving stereotypically associated with or expected of men, regardless having a negative impact on men and on society as a whole. So, what you're telling me is that if I just act like a man, a stereotypical man, that is toxic masculinity. You guys see how damaging that is. So, a man just being a man is toxic masculinity. That means a police officer is toxic masculinity. Firefighter is toxic masculinity. Your construction worker is toxic masculinity. I'm sorry, but the doctor that saves your life, that comes in, is toxic masculinity. All of our fathers and those of us that have fathers, especially the ones that took care of us and raised us, those are toxic men. I'm sorry, but I can't agree with that. But then I will go ahead and agree with that and say if that makes me a toxic man, then I'm going to stay toxic. I'm going to rear my children. I am definitely going to make sure that I give them structure in the home. I'm going to work my ass off. I'm going to act out on my testosterone. I'm going to make sure that I always maintain control of who I am as a man and as a person, but I'm also going to express myself, which even this right here, they're going to say is toxic masculinity. Why? Because it goes against the grain. It goes against what you say I shouldn't be. Masculinity is nothing to be afraid of, but they are trying to create this mass fear. They're trying to create this war of men versus women, and I just don't agree with this shit. And I'm not going to agree with it. I'm not going to buy into it. Men love you, no matter how much you hate us. A lot of times, they want to portray it as if men hate women, but we know that we can't live without you. Do women rule the world? No. Do men rule the world? No. Has there ever been a patriarchy? I want you to really think about that. The strongest man in the world had a woman behind it. Family has been 100% the keynote of life up until recently. So everything that man did, that woman did, and everything that man created, that woman gained from. And it's actually women that help put certain men in the positions they're in because she helped maintain who he is as a man. She helped keep him grounded. She helped keep him from making dumb choices and thinking things through. Because whether you like it or not, that is probably one of the biggest number one roles of a woman is to maintain that her man is just that, a man, and maintains being a man and acting as a man, living as a man, and protecting her. You mean to tell me that if someone came and broke into my home right now, and I have my children here, I have a woman here, and I protect them, you're not gonna call me toxic masculine. You're not gonna call me a toxically masculine man. You're gonna call me a hero. But the moment that I speak out for myself and do anything to protect myself or do anything to basically say, hey, stop talking shit about men, all of a sudden we're toxic. Or we no longer agree with a woman because unfortunately there's a lot of bullshit that's just being thrown out. Then all of a sudden that man is toxic. I'm sorry, that's not the case. That is literally just your feeling over who knows what reason. The fact that this country has become as soft as it is absolutely ridiculous. I'm a 70s baby. Grew up and raised through all of the 80s and the 90s. The country and the society we have become today is extremely weak. It is extremely weak. And I don't know how we got here, but moving forward, I honestly, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for the current state of this country, and I'm so scared for my children. What they're about to go through is just asinine. But I know this isn't going to be one of those videos that everybody's going to jump up and down and go crazy about. But at the end of the day, it's really time for us to start speaking out and speaking up, because it seems that everyone else is speaking out and speaking up against us, but there's no one literally there. And we as men, well, the more we speak up, the more we get canceled. So cancel my black ass. I'll figure out another way to come out. I have more one-on-one interactions with people than I do over social media anyway. So that's honestly all I got to say today. Definitely want to say thanks for tuning in to another episode. I'm your man Bailey, aka Mr. Go. Subscribe, like the video, comment, even if you talk